I mean, that law is pretty much in effect, and it's been finalized. And I guess my question is, my customers have gone through the expenses of upgrading and coming into compliance with the TRU regulations. Like, enforcement of that is really lacking. You had made a comment about, a lot of people just kind of standing by to see where it was going to go. And it makes the people that have complied very uncompetitive in today's market. Any idea of when the enforcement is really going to take place?
And I've heard mixed things, but my reports directly from the Chief of Mobile Source Enforcement, Paul Jacobs, over at the ARB, is that they've issued hundreds of violations so far, both for non-reporting and registering, as well as not affixing the IDN numbers in the allotted amount of time, as well as just non-compliance for the emission standards. The non-registration violation is $500. The non-compliance with the emission standards is $1,000. In the TRU Arbor registry, they say that close to 100,000 refrigerated units, gensets, and trailers have already been registered. So there's a good number out there that have complied, but we hear the same thing, especially in some of the ag operations, where these guys are operating seasonal. They just park the trailer somewhere, they use it for a couple months out of the year, if even. Those are especially the hard to reach offenders, and there is an ongoing effort by the Air Board by Air Board staff rather, to go and find where these trucks congregate, or these vehicles congregate, and start issuing fines. And they have. They do it down near downtown LA. Their specific hours. They're working at night. They're really trying to structure their enforcement scheduling in order to conform with how the industry actually operates. So it's something that we are very familiar with. We get a lot from our members in that regard. On one hand, people want to see delays because it's costly. The rule, I won't say initially it was the best crafted rule. There's a lot of issues with it still, and in fact they're going to amend it probably in November with a lot of cleanup language and then some other early incentive stuff, and we'll be talking to Ms. Berg about that shortly, I'm sure. But on the other hand, you have people who have spent literally millions of dollars to comply with these regulations, and as I mentioned earlier, we're already at a slight competitive disadvantage just by being here in California. And when I hear people are based IRP in California, we wonder if that's going to be a thing of the past with all the regulations that are necessary in order to run your truck coming between BIT, all this ARB stuff, and then you have your workman's comp laws and whatnot that make it more difficult. So we know it's an issue. We appreciate them acknowledging the issues with the regulation providing delays, but they also need to provide some type of incentive for those who have spent the money already, because as you mentioned, they're operating at a competitive disadvantage. So the fines, they're out there. If they haven't come to you guys yet, it's just a matter of time before they find you. And remember, their number one resource for enforcement actions is other companies calling 666 diesel and ratting out their competitors who are not complying with the regulations. So, and I'm sure Warren and anyone will make no bones about it, that they admit that and encourage it at the same time.